So once again, just for those of you that are watching on YouTube here, good morning. Welcome to screencasting to YouTube. You'll see the little in the corner there where it says recording. So we are recording this live type of thing. And I use this many ways. And I'm just going to talk about some of the benefits. First, let's talk about what screencasting is. So screencasting is a digital recording of computer screen output, also known as video screen capture, often containing audio narration. So if you were to go on after this session and watch my video, you would see this screen, what is screencasting, and you would hear my voice. Okay, so whatever, if you're a student sitting in my class, whatever you see on the screen, whatever you hear coming out of my mouth, is what you would hear and see at home. And it's awesome. Okay, some benefits to this. I've been doing this now for probably 5 or 6, maybe even 7 years. Number one thing that came to mind was the flipped classroom model. You guys familiar with the flipped classroom model? I do this. I teach computer science and I teach physics. My computer science program, which has been growing the last few years, I'm now to a point where I've got a group, I've got a class now, I've got grade 10, I got 4 grade 10s, I got about 8 or 9 grade 11s, and I got about 8 or 9 grade 12s, and I've got Luke, who is even beyond me, kind of thing. So I've got 4 classes, 4 groups in one period, one session. It is crazy, a nightmare, kind of thing, a good nightmare, I guess. But my grade 10s completely flipped. I have recorded every lesson in grade 10 computer science. They walk in, they grab a laptop, they bring in the earbuds, or I've got a few that I've lifted off a plane. They're just sitting there. And they use those, and they watch their lesson on a day-to-day basis, and they do everything sort of at their own pace and their own time. I obviously check in with them on a day-to-day basis kind of thing, but I do not stand in front of a grade 10 computer science class this semester. The grade 11s I'm still working on, although I'm finding my grade 11s are starting to stretch out. I've got kids that want to accelerate, and I've got kids that need extra help, and so I'm actually starting to record the grade 11 lessons so that those kids can move ahead. So the flipped classroom model, this is the way you're going to need to do it. The reason I started doing it, though, 5 or 6 years ago, was because it allows students to catch up on missed lessons. And this is absolutely phenomenal. And the responsibility now goes to the student. No longer do my kids, well, they still do, they just don't get an answer. They say, what did I miss? I say, it's on the YouTube channel. Don't bother me. Don't say that. But basically, that's what it is. It's like this. I have washed my hands of it. I've recorded it. The responsibility is now on the student. Clearly, obviously, the kid comes to me and needs help, I will help them, right? But for the vast majority of the kids, all they need to do is if they missed a class, they just go online at home or wherever they can, on their phone, at the library, wherever it might be, and they just watch the lesson. It's like being in class. It really is, okay? So all of that responsibility now is on the student. It's great at parent-teacher conferences because when a parent says to me, are you telling me that my kid can watch every lesson again at home? And I say, yes. And they basically race out the door and they start yelling, why aren't you doing this? Okay? I've had parents actually say to me, oh yeah, I was listening to you last night. You know, I bump into someone at Safeway or whatever and they say, yeah, I was listening to your voice last night. You were talking something about, I don't know, vector stuff or something rather. That type of thing. It allows students to rewatch lessons that they need more help on. If they didn't quite get it, they can watch it again. They can rewind, go a little bit slower. They can, if they want to just sit in class and listen and not write the notes, but then they want to write the notes later, they can watch the lesson again and copy the notes. Gives them a little bit more control. One of my colleagues, not really a techie kind of guy, up to a year or two ago was still handwriting all his math tests. But he's now, I've got him creating tutorials for common mistakes. He comes to me and says, you know what? I got kids that are constantly asking me for help on completing the square or factoring or whatever. Is there a way I could record something? I'm like, yes, it's so simple. So I sat with him and he made a list of things he wanted to do. He's created little 5-minute tutorials on common math skills, mistakes that he sees has seen over the years. And now they're on his YouTube channel, and the kids, when they need how to help completing the square, they go to the YouTube channel. That's just there. And we link that to our school website. Exam review is another benefit. If a kid knows at the end of the year, okay, I still don't get this, they can go through my channel and they can find the lesson that day. Maybe they were away that day and they didn't watch it. They can go back and they can re-watch the lesson. They don't have to ask me, can you reteach this? Right? And I'll say to them, if you haven't watched that video yet, you need to do that first, right? If you still have trouble, then come see me, right? And then that time with me can be a little bit shorter, and then I can spend my time with other kids as well. So there are tons of benefits. I probably have just scratched the surface there. Any questions before I start the water? Feel free to just jump out.
Just wondering about sound.
Yes.
Do you use a microphone or anything, or when you're presenting here today, will it pick?
This is not. Yeah, probably not. This is not the best. I've experimented with a variety of sound. I've never really had, yes, this is the best. I used to use, I had a headset with a 9-volt battery that would drain like in no time kind of thing. I was like constantly recharging it. That didn't work very well. I had a USB microphone that worked very well. It would follow me around the room. It did really well. It didn't pick up kids' voices very well. So what I found actually works the best is a webcam. Like in a room this size, if I put a webcam right about here, and you talk in a sort of a teacher kind of whole classroom kind of voice, it would pick it up. So yeah, I mean, and we're talking a $50 webcam, like nothing too crazy. So I kind of have one of those gym teacher kind of voices that, so you know, kind of thing. If I'm doing a flipped classroom, I have a headset, a USB one. When I taught video conference, they gave us a headset kind of thing. Well, if I'm doing that type of thing, I'll put that headset on, and then I don't have to sort of use that presentation voice kind of thing. I can just sort of talk normally. But generally, if I'm teaching a class and I'm using my classroom voice, a web camera or a, you'll hear this. Like I'll play this video for you, and you'll hear it, right? But yeah, I don't usually use my laptop. I usually have I have another machine that has a web camera. So
I wonder too if you could use one of those FM systems.
Probably, yeah.
If you put the speaker right
Yeah.
beside the computer.
If you've got a sound field system, I would say that any web camera would pick that up, no problem. Yeah. Good question. Although you do, I should caution there, more than once I've recorded a lesson and then realized that I have had the wrong mic input, so I have all this beautiful video and no audio. And kids say, Mr. Ben, what happened to the podcast? So I tend to do, every once in a while, I'll do a little check to make sure that I'm recording audio before I, do something. So leads into this screen here. So what do you need? See, that's going to cause me some grief. You need screen recording software, obviously, and I'll talk more about that in a bit, and you need some place to host it, and I recommend YouTube. Anyone still in a division that blocks YouTube? Awesome. Okay. YouTube. There's TeacherTube, there's other ones as well, but YouTube is certainly the one. Okay, so Smart Recorder. If you have a smartboard in your room, you have this software. You just might not realize it. Okay? It's relatively easy to find. I just went over on the left here, and it's under Smart Technologies. You maybe did see it when I was, if you use it enough, it'll show up over here, right? So, Smart Technologies, Smart Tools, Recorder, right? And there it is. And it's just this little window on the side that just records. It's recording again, it's recording my voice, and it's recording whatever's on the screen. You may have seen on YouTube some videos where the presenter's face is in a little window right here, right? So you can see who you're listening to kind of thing. I don't use that. I'm generally walking around the room anyways, so I'm not going to be standing right here kind of thing in front of it. So it's really not an issue for me kind of thing. Some features about Smart Recorder. I just use the defaults. Like there was a time we were on the Edline system for a number of years. Because it had some file size limits, I had to use lower quality stuff. I had to, I'll show you this other one here. I moved it this morning, and where'd it go? No, I must have deleted it. You can reduce the frame rate. I can't show it to you now because we're recording, but if you go under Menu and Options, you can reduce the frame so it's 3 frames per second or 1 frame per second, which is a bit choppy. If you've got file size issues, then you might have to scale that back, but I've found the last few years, I just go with the defaults and it's worked great. So don't use the AVI Smart Recorder. Kids can only watch that if they've got Smart Notebook on their computer, and what kid has Smart Notebook on their computer at all? Doesn't make any sense. So WMV is the way to go and post to YouTube. If you do not have a smart board in your room, don't worry. There are tons of other screencasting software. The first one that sort of popped up when I searched was Screencast-O-Matic, and just some features about it. The maximum recording time there is 15 minutes. This is free. Free hosting up to 15 minutes. Record screen and webcam, so you could get that face if you want. Publish to YouTube in HD, publish to MP4, AVI, and FLV, and so on. And if you want to pay $15 a year, I guess you can do those other things. Okay, but again, if you have a smart notebook, then there's certainly the software built in. There are others. And when I searched for it, I found out that there are many, many more. Here are 12. I think, yeah, there's free ones. AVI Screen, Cam Studio, Copernicus, Jing Project, Screencast-O-Matic. There are commercial ones if you want to buy some. Adobe has something, All Capture. There's tons, right? You're not going to have a hard time finding software. You might have a hard time finding out which one works best for you, but there's tons of them out there if you happen to be not equipped with a smart board. You don't have to actually technically have a smart board. All you really need is Smart Notebook installed, right? Did you understand what? So you can have Smart Notebook, which is this software, right? If you have this software, Smart Notebook, installed on a computer, because I'm not running a smart board here, right? I'm just running Smart Notebook. I actually have a Symposium, the smart board that you sort of stand in front of and talk to kids, kind of thing, as opposed to the smart board that goes on the wall. But again, all you need is Smart Notebook. So, and some type of input device for audio, right? I'm just using the microphone here on my laptop. Okay, the second thing you need is you need a YouTube account. Easy to create. You may even have one and don't realize it already. If you have a Google Doc account, or if you've created a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account. I recommend using Chrome. It's nice and fast, made by Google. You can tell if you have one because when you go to YouTube, you should see your name up here. If you go to YouTube and you see some name up here, you have a YouTube account. You can host stuff. I recommend different channels. For a number of years when I was posting YouTube, my own personal stuff, my kids' band up on stage, when I sent a grandma down in Arizona, was right next to my adding vectors videos kind of thing. So I realized I got to clean this up a bit. It's relatively easy to do, especially if you start off by doing that. If you have to go and clean it up, then obviously there's a problem. So here I'm on Mr. Bennett's channel, which is my school one. You can see some. If anyone's ever looked at Veristasium, you'll know it's awesome. If you haven't, you should. If I get a chance, I'll show you the Slinky drop. It's easy to switch. Here's my personal one, my personal Gmail one. You can see I got a bunch of music stuff on here. Just be aware when you're posting, hey, which one am I posting to? Right? I should probably have a different picture up there to sort of remind myself a little bit more. I don't normally use this computer for these type of things. So you do need a YouTube account. You can have different channels for different courses. If you want, I've got all my stuff on under Mr. Bennett's channel. It's not that big of a deal. But if you want your grade 7 math videos to be on a separate channel than your grade 8 social studies, just create another channel under your YouTube account. Relatively easy to do. It's just a little bit more management sort of type of thing as you keep track of those channels. So. That's a good question. I know you can make certain videos public, or you must have the link to see. I don't know if you can do that blanket for a channel. That's a good question. If you can't, you just have to make sure you only do, make sure the videos are need a link to see kind of thing. So, yeah. Yeah. I would imagine so, yeah. I haven't used TeacherTube in a long time, so yeah. I know that, can kids get onto TeacherTube videos easy? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had any issues at all. I mean, what's the video of? My voice and me doing math problems. Go ahead, be my guest. Do what you like with it. There is a 15-minute limit on uploads to YouTube. You can increase though by verifying my cell phone. I've done it once and I haven't had to do it again, so I can't really show you how to do it because it's not one of those things you do on a daily basis. But basically, I know you put in your cell number and they send you a text message and then a code and you type it in and then boom, you're approved. And as long as you maintain a good track record for following copyright guidelines, you're not, recording TV shows and posting them to YouTube or music videos or what have you. You're staying within copyright guidelines that we all should be doing anyways. You should have no problem. And some of my videos might be 20 minutes long. Really, 20 minutes is probably about as long as I would ever go kind of thing. Okay, so once you've created your video, and again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the steps of how to do it, and then because I'm recording this, I'm actually going to do it and show you. Okay, so you're going to see it twice type of thing. So what you do is you would click upload, and then you would come to this window here, and it just says select files to upload. You can do one, you can do a whole bunch. My colleague Ted, the math guy, I said, you know what, Ted, you make 5 or 6, get the videos done, make sure they're the way you like, and then I'll come in and I'll show you how to upload them. They all go up at once, no problem, right? If you want to do one a day like I do in my class, then that's easy enough to do too, right? So you select file to upload, obviously browse to find the file. To make this screenshot, I uploaded a video called Spinning Marker. It was just a quick little thing that I did. It tells you the name of it. It'll say processing your video, and they'll give you the link where it's going to be at. You'll be amazed at how fast it goes when I show you actually how it goes here. At one time, on a smaller bandwidth type of thing, it might have taken me 3 or 4 minutes. Now it's seconds. You'll be amazed. After that, if you click on the link, it'll say the video is still being processed. You can just see it underneath there. Please check back in a few minutes. I always try to get the link done before it's finished processing, because if you click on the video, then you suddenly hear yourself talking in the background, and it's kind of weird. And I select the share button right here, and you can either use the link that pops up or you can use the embed code. And I'll talk about the embed code in a little bit here when I show you how to do it, right? And to be honest, I'm kind of done. You can post these to a class webpage if you have one. You can post it to your class Schoology account, which I'm going to spend 20 minutes showing you, and you'll be amazed. You can send it out on Twitter if you want. If you want to email it to people, the link. If you want to post it to a Facebook page. If you want to create a QR code, the cool little square barcode thing, you can do that. You can basically do anything with that link now, to that video that you can come up with. And that's, like I said, that's really it. It's not really a difficult, there's not a lot of steps to it, right? I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. So I'm done my little presentation here. Oh, I should tell you this, yes. You should consider a playlist. A playlist is different from a channel. If you have I have one channel for just my school stuff, and then I've got Computer Science 20S playlist. And what it does is it puts the videos in the proper order. So if the kids start at the first one, it just goes to the next one. It just sort of, they could use it as exam review kind of thing, right? So you might want to do that. Relatively easy to do with a playlist. Okay, so I'm going to show you how it works here. So I'm going to press stop.